Well, good morning. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. We're on these couple days in between spring rainstorms. I've been thinking quite a bit about how to make this video because you have to swallow your pride a little when you have to show your work and show your mistakes. We ended up lambing out about 40 lambs, and there's about 20 left from that early lambing. It is pretty bad. But you can see here we're kind of on a rotation. You can see they chewed that down pretty good. And there's the cotton dog hanging out with the feeder. I bought him from Jordan. Oh, there's a couple lambs over there I gotta go show the way in. They're pretty dumb. But I've culled this flock down pretty hard this year, and it's hitting my pride, even though I know it's a good thing, in the sense that I like seeing a big ball of sheep. And I'd spent some time cutting out fence jumpers, anything that looks bad, anything that last year didn't shed well. You can see they're already shedding off. Hey, little guy. You look how fat that lamb is, though, huh? And just cutting all the riffraff out of my flock, and then it also helped that the flock looks smaller. There's some over there, and there's some behind me yet, and there's Sheppy dog. And it just I have about 40 ewes left total, and I really wanted to get towards 90, but I just wasn't satisfied with the quality of my bottom stock. And so you see there, some of them are spread out eating the bushes in the green. I'm throwing a little hay here, and so I culled really hard this year, because if I'm going to sell seed stock, I want to sell not just something that's tough and durable and produces a good lamb, but it should be really beautiful too. Like that heuristic of goodness, truth, and beauty has to apply to everything, including farming. It can't be ugly. And so we trimmed way down, but it hits my ego a little, because I really like seeing. Here's a couple more up there. I really like seeing the big pile of animals. So we're going to get into the second half of lambing here. You can see this one. She's got a lamb. You see how she's thinning out. I forced her to carry a lamb in February, March, and now into April, which is just a massive mistake on my part, and that's a great ewe. So it's interesting, but we have a few that are, we have about 20 ewes, I think, maybe more like 15 that are going to lamb at the proper time. Like you can see her, she's definitely still pregnant. Those two are pregnant. That's a wether. I think that's one I bought from George. I know. So some of these ones that are out eating. So we're going to have some lambs at the more appropriate time, but golly, it's been rough on the lambing to screw that up. And we're in that kind of tricky phase. I looked at talking about this with cattle mostly, but man, we're in that awkward phase of the grass is growing, but it's not tall yet. And how do we ease them into it? And you can see kind of the greening difference between where they're grazing and where we're heading up on the hill. So we're just feeding out, a little bit of hay along with rotating every day. Why don't we go get those lambs? Yeah, there's two little lambs over there that got lost right on the fence line. We'll go get them after I make this video, but yeah, it's been an awkward year, and that's why I haven't been showing my sheep flock, because I'm not very happy with myself. And I just said, I got to bite the bullet, and I'm not your mother. Go back to your mother. Go. Yeah, get out of here. But I just bite the bullet and be honest about the mistakes we made this year. And I feel silly because this is like a rookie mistake, and I should be past making this kind of a mistake, but I obviously am not. So, yeah. Anyway, so some things to correct this. We now have the rams living totally on the other farm, which is 5 miles away. There's no chance of ewes getting in or rams getting out. And we're going to be bringing the bull over here, so we're going to have the sheep and our South Pole bull, and just keep all mistakes from being possible. Let's not underestimate animal drive to procreate even when we don't want them to. So that's really what we've done. Is my son Henry's, I gave him some nets because I hate nets, but he doesn't mind so far, and he's been setting up nets and rotating the rams with me, and we're gonna do a better job this year. And it's probably a blessing in the long term, culling out the flock this hard, because everything I have left is exactly right. And there's a few scruff balls, but they're mostly wethers that were just growing out. That didn't grow right last year, or I know George had some late lambing, and so I got some wethers from him that are young yet. Here's an example of a young wether right here, and he'll get fat this year. He had to go through winter as a small guy. This is a ram lamb, this brown guy. Somebody's got their name on him, and he's just a beautiful looking animal. And then there's a couple others that I might be selling for rams, from my white ram that I'm particularly proud of. And one of the things I notice is that you can just look at their condition early and see if they're going to be something. And so, it's not a sure thing, but here, I'll try to find, look at this lamb right here. Here, this is a female, right? Yeah, this is a female, but look how fat and healthy she is already. It's unreal. And they're already in there eating with the mamas. And they've been a little naughty here and there, wandering underneath the fence, but for the most part they stay with the flock, and that's been really good. One other thing I want to point out, if you look, let's go through these lambs. Katahdin. The lone Dorper standing. That's the Dorper cross, the only one that made it. We had a couple of them, but they all were pretty delicate and they died pretty flippin' fast. So we'll call that experiment a fail. And I've had people say, hey, you got the wrong Dorpers, and that might be so. The Dorper I got failed. And to be honest, they don't look like they're performing better than the Katahdins that I've developed at home. So I think we're gonna just chalk that one up to a learning experience and move on with our lives. But that guy's a healthy little bugger. Kind of an odd looking dude. Looks more like a goat to me, but this old girl, this is my last old girl left. You can see she's pretty thin, and she's got a bag now, so she should be lambing soon. So I think I'd be surprised if she made it another year if she's already thin carrying the lambs. But she's older than the hills. So anyway, this is the state of the flock. Everything in here is a winner now, but it's a small group, so we're gonna rebuild and continue to be strict with what we keep on the farm. I love this. Look at this. We haven't had one day at 70 yet, maybe one, and my sheep are already shedding. I love that. I can't stand a hair sheep that doesn't shed. What's the point of it if they're gonna carry a big ragged ball of junk on their back? So all these girls will be slick as snot by June. It's going to be amazing. So, all right, I got to go get the dumb lambs that are playing by the fence line and get them in, and so I can close up the fence there and get some more hay and some water and get over to the cattle. I hope everyone appreciates kind of this review. It really was not my favorite thing to do, but I got to stop avoiding looking at my sheep just because it's small and sad. All right, bye everyone.